mom who knows not of my name is Brianna, and today's special guest is a former colleague, Kristal. Oh, we got all the dirt to talk about with this lady. We worked together at North Italia. She's now married to one of our former managers. Ooh, shit's getting real in the kitchen. So we're gonna get into all of that shit, and we're gonna start with that because I'm a nosy bitch. All right, lady, I'm so excited to talk to you. You got 2 babies with this man. I don't know about that, Mrs. Jetson. We're in the future now.
I know.
So let's talk about how your relationship went from, friends to restaurant romance to married with 2 babies.
Yeah, whirlwind.
Yes.
It was fast. It's been fast. I mean, we are celebrating our 2nd year of marriage, October 1st, and we already have 2 kids, so that's pretty fast. But yeah, I mean, we were both in relationships when we met, and he is not my type at all. He is a pretty white boy, very clean cut. I mean, my description of him is that he irons his underwear, and when people meet him, they're like, that's a really good description of him. But yeah, I mean, we hung out, became friends, and I don't know, somewhere in there in the many years we fell in love. And then we were secretly dating, obviously, because he was my GM and I was trying to get my management position. And yeah, I mean, I got promoted, and they were like, do you want to move to Vegas and open up a restaurant? And I liked Eric, but I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. Let's go. Peace out. Alex Wiesenthal asked Eric, do you think she's going to take this promotion? And Eric's like, nah, she's not going to take it. And she told me, and I'm like, yeah, I immediately accept. I'm going. So I almost dumped him, actually, because my sister was like, well, who moves to Vegas with a boyfriend? Who brings Stan to the beach, right? And, but he...
Sound advice. No offense, Eric. Love you.
Totally.
It, but good on you, sister.
Totally, yeah. She knew what she was talking about. And I tried to shake him, but gosh, he really put in effort. He would fly out here every month. And
wow.
Was anytime he had time off, he was literally here, or flying me to LA. And I just never seen so much effort from someone. And we did that for 10 months. And then he was like, I want to be married to you, not to the restaurant. And so he quit and moved here. And then the week he moved here, we found out we were pregnant with baby D. And so God has funny timing in that way, because obviously, yeah, it just all happened at the right time. And then, yeah, I was pregnant. I was 8 months pregnant. And then he proposed at the top of the stratosphere.
Wow.
With this tiny little thing.
That's going to sink you to the bottom.
Right. I don't think I said yes. That's our running joke, is I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, is this happening? Oh my God. And I'm pouring tears, and I'm 8 months pregnant. Everyone's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm really happy. This is a happy moment. But I'm an ugly crier, so it was really ugly.
Oh, I love it.
And then we had Dean, and then we got married a couple months later, a little shotgun wedding, at the little Vegas chapel. We didn't tell anyone.
Dean was born. I didn't realize that Dean was born before the. Okay, I missed that in.
Oh yeah, we're
the
full
social
sinners.
Stalking. That's
yeah,
cool.
Dean was born in May, and then we got married in October. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and then I really wanted a second baby. We wanted them really close, so we tried. We tried, and then I was 18 months apart is my goal, and they are 18 months apart exactly. So
wow,
I know.
Dreams do come true.
My dream come true. Well, yeah, I've never ever thought that someone would quit their life for me, but I got lucky, I guess. So yeah.
Oh, you're a badass. So
thanks. Yeah, we love each other. We're cute.
Yeah. We're cute. I like that though. When Dom and I, we didn't get married right away. Declan was almost 2 when we were like, yeah, let's do this. And it wasn't romantic. I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't romantic. And I dig at him on that a lot. And he gets upset about it. But ours was more like strategic. It was more like, hey, we have this life, we have this family, we have this kid. Like, we need to be legitimate because we love each other. We do. He thinks I'm a pain in the ass. I think he's a pain in the ass. It's great. But we have this little organism who depends on us. And so we need to be like a unit. That's important, you know, like it's for a lot of things. For our family, because it's international, like we kind of need to have structure. And I'm not good with structure, ironically, or coincidentally, whatever the terminology is. But yeah, like I get that. Like, you don't just live in sin. Who cares?
Right. I was like, we're in Vegas already. We're sinners, clearly. And like, we've had a child out of wedlock. But like, my dad would be like, you know, when I was pregnant, he'd be like, oh, you know, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what's more permanent than like deciding to have a child together? I'm like, we are bound for life. Like, I ain't worried about getting married. Like,
yeah,
we're, you know, like once you have a kid together, it's like, yeah, there's like a deadbeat dad situation, but like that would never be Jet. So I was like, I'm not worried. Like, it'll come if it comes. And if it doesn't, like, you know,
it's cool. It's cool.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a good thing. You got to know your partner. And we all, there's definitely aberrations made in those situations. However, status quo does not compensate for the aberrations. And I think sometimes there's actually a lot of men who want to step up, as like in your now husband, our former boss.
He's still my boss. God.
I don't know about that.
I'm in his office, so don't tell him.
I have so many questions. Okay, but I want to talk about mom stuff and not about your husband, even though I'm like, so curious because I love you to death, and I know you guys for so long. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Okay, so you have 2 kids. I want to know about that transition of mom. Like, when you found out you were pregnant, what was that like?
Honestly, I cried. I saw the positive pregnancy test and I cried, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, what do we do? And like, he's super Catholic. So like, I mean, the look in my eyes was like, are we doing this? And he was like, there's no other option. So I was like, okay, well, but he was so happy. He was like, so happy. He was like, I've wanted to be a dad my whole life. Like, this is amazing. Like, so I was like, gosh, well, like, I have this kind of support. Like, this is more than I could ever ask for. Like, if he's in, let's do it. I'm like, I know we can do anything together. So like, let's give us another challenge. Sure. Let's have a baby. Like, cause I'm crazy. But it was a pretty big mind shift, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it was awesome. It's different. I can't be selfish anymore. I was pretty selfish before, I think. It brings to light all of your like character flaws, you know, being a mom.
Oh, Abe, I wasn't having kids because I was selfish. So there you go. Yeah. I had all my turkeys at the restaurant, so it's great with that. Fucking wahalotes.
Mama wahalote.
Yeah, so I hear you there. That resonates a lot. That's my word this week, apparently. So you had Dean. Now you have Layla.
Layla. Yeah, like the Eric Clapton song, you know. Layla.
Got me on my knees, Layla.
Yep.
Love it.
Because Eric is actually named after Clapton, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, his dad's Benny Jetson, so Benny and the Jets, for real.
Shut the F up.
And Eric is named after Clapton. Oh, yeah, they're like a huge musical, like, family. Like, dad was in a touring band and stuff. And
so they're in Arizona, right? His family? Your family's in
Arizona, yeah.
And you're in Nevada. Exactly. They're living in Nevada now. Wow. Mm-hmm. So then you have Dean. Mm-hmm. You want your kids to be close. Now you have Layla. What the hell was that like? So you have one baby. Surprise! Here he is! And then you have, all right, we're going to do this. We want them to be closer in age. And I appreciate that. My brother and I are 18 months apart, and I think it's so beneficial.
I love that.
Oh, so good. Like, it's nothing better, and I'm definitely biased here, like having an older sibling, in my opinion, particularly your brother. But so now you have two and they're that much apart. So you had the one, and that was a shift, but now you have the two. And what was that like to like grow the family so dynamically and rather quickly?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I tell everyone, because everyone goes, oh, you got a boy and a girl. I'm like, yeah, I ordered them on Amazon, but the one came late. I mean, it was just like, I don't know, it all happened so quick. Like, Dean was just like, okay, I'm pregnant, and like I accepted that, and like my pregnancy with Dean was amazing, so easy, like it was great. And then like, so obviously I'm like, you know, they trick you. Like, Dean's a great baby. He's slept 12 hours, like almost his whole existence, like eats like a champ, never has any issues. Right. So they trick you and you're like, oh, I can have another one of these. And then like one kid is easy and two kids is like 100% more children. And it's so effing difficult. Like, it's crazy. We're almost outnumbered. I don't want any more. He wanted 8 to begin with, which is insane. Yes. Eric wanted 8 children. And I was like, on board. And now we have 2, and now he's like, maybe we'll only have 4. And I'm like, maybe we'll have only 2. And that's it.
My body, my choice.
Literally. I'm like, you carry them. He would if he could. He would totally do it. I swear. But it's hard. Layla is terrible. She's the freaking worst. Oh my God. She's so cute. She's so cute and beautiful and intelligent, but like the girl hasn't slept through the night and she's almost a year old. Like it's what I imagine like a military internment camp to be like to be woken up every 2 hours by like a screaming baby. Like, you just don't get rest and you're just like on edge at all times. And like, it's very challenging. And she's just so different. Yeah. She doesn't really like care about eating, and she doesn't like to sleep, and she's very needy. She's a girl. So she's a freaking girl. So, I mean,
the difference between males and females.
Yeah, literally.
For the Jetson household. I mean, all I keep thinking about is Eric Jetson, Kristal, his wife, like, and just when you guys like fly in.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, we thought Layla was actually a boy when I was pregnant with her for 5 months, and we were going to name her George. So she was George Jetson, and then and then when they were like, oh wait, she's a girl, and we're like, oh, can we return? Like, we know, not that. But obviously we love her, but you know. That's probably why she's such a brat. She was like, you guys thought I was a boy.
Nah, now I'm just gonna like eat your world.
Definitely.
Now, was the birth different? Like, I've only had one, so I'm always very curious about other people's experiences with multiples, and I don't ever want to have another one. So,
was yours traumatic?
It wasn't traumatic in the moment, but in retrospect, probably a little bit more than like I want to acknowledge. Yeah. And I talk about this a lot in podcasts because I think sometimes people, every time I'm talking to someone, it's someone new for the first time, like in years and months and days, who doesn't like know the birth story. So Declan was fine. He was head down, all the things, but he was still vacuumed out. I was induced because of my history of blood clots. Had I done things differently or kind of trusted my body a little bit more, I would have definitely used a midwife. My doctor team was incredible in Dallas. I can't knock them. They were absolutely fantastic. Listen to me, all of the things. But in retrospect, I would have done things differently with the OB in the background, not as the primary. So traumatic. Yeah. Theoretically, no. Declan was vacuumed out in the end, but I had an epidural because I had been given Cervidil. So one of the reasons I could never do drugs as a human, my body can't react to them. Like, I take Tylenol for migraines. I can't handle drugs at all. So the Cervidil 4 hours, and they say when you ripen your cervix, it's going to take most people, the average is 12 to 24 hours for your cervix to ripen. Mine was like 4 hours later. Let's go.
Ooh, wow.
So I was having labor intensive contractions 4 hours into my hospital stay with no dilation. So after 8 hours of that, I was like, fuck this.
Definitely.
How am I supposed to deliver a baby if I don't have any rest? So I was like, give me the epidural. Whatever. So, and I'd asked my doctor, I was like, I want to go as long as possible without induction. As long as possible. Like, I don't want to be induced. She was like, well, I only feel comfortable taking to like 38 weeks in a few days. And I was like, so I was almost at 39 weeks, but not quite induced. And I was like, this fucking sucks. And I think, like, in retrospect, like, I knew he needed the full term. Mm-hmm. But liability and Western health practices are like, no. Anyway, Declan, long story short, took a lot of time. He needed to be vacuumed out. My blood pressure was dropping, his blood pressure was dropping, oxygen, blah, blah, umbilical cord wrapped around his neck, all that shit. In retrospect, probably really traumatic, but like in the moment, I was trying to find my yoga zen, all the yoga. And he's a beautiful, brilliant boy, and we took him to a chiropractor and got his head screwed on straight, literally, because he was a cone head. I know, right? It's not just a movie. It's like this happens. And he's the coolest kid. I'm so lucky to have him, and I'm so fortunate to be his mother. Like, he drives me fucking crazy, but he's badass, dude. So, or whoever he wants to be in the future, I don't know. But he's a cool human.
Yeah. I love
he's
that.
Cool
well, you're
human.
cool, so that makes sense. I don't know your man, but you're cool, so.
Yeah, he's all right too. Like, he's got the accent. He looks the part. He's amazing. He's a good dad.
What do they call him? He looks silver foxy.
Oh God, he's so silver foxy. I mean, like.
And then with an accent, I could see that.
I got to tell you, like, okay, this is totally off the scorecard that I'm trying to keep here because it's supposed to be about you.
Sorry.
I thought he was annoying when I met him. I met him at Misfit Santa Monica, and I thought he was fucking obnoxious. And I was like, oh my God, this guy, he thinks he's so great with his British accent. Oh my God. And I was like, oh, stop talking. And he just never left me alone.
Aww.
And here we are. So that's our story in a nutshell.
Maybe that's true love, because I feel like Eric is annoying. He was so annoying. I hated him. He would literally text me pictures of, like, things that I had not closed correctly. You know what I mean? This is before we were dating. I'm like, you're so annoying. Like, why would anyone date him? He's like, he's just pretty. Like, everyone just thinks he's hot, but he's so annoying. And, like, hey, here we are. So.
Now he's your annoying hot mess.
Now he's my annoying hot mess. He's still hot, though. He's getting hotter with age, so lucky me.
Maybe he'll be a silver fox. Oh, my gosh.
Definitely.
I'll have Dominic give him notes because he's probably 20 years older than Jet. Okay, so did we talk about the different birth experiences? I lost track. I was talking about my birth experience. But
I know.
Layla was like easy baby, but like was her birth different, like in that carrying than Dean?
Well, so Dean's pregnancy, super easy the whole time. I was one of those annoying, like, glowing moms. I'm like, why do people complain about this? This is amazing. I love being pregnant. Granted, I gained 65 pounds, so your girl likes being pregnant because she likes her treats. But yeah, I mean, like, I thought I knew what I was doing. And, like, I went in with, like, a birth plan, I guess, you know. But you're scared. So, like, I went full term, I went 40 weeks, and then my doctor was like, okay, if you keep going, like, we need to strip your membranes. And so, like, I mean, I know nothing. So I'm like, all right, strip my membranes, sure. So she did that, and that was like a Thursday. And then that night we went and saw, I don't know, like an Avengers movie, like a 3-hour movie in the theaters. And like, I had like one contraction and I'm like, oh God, this is going to take forever. And then that night I started having full on contractions and I had them for like a day and like couldn't sleep. So we went to the hospital and then they were like, oh, you're half a centimeter dilated. And I'm talking like I had full on contractions that were like 5 minutes apart. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So they were like, well, go walk around the hospital for an hour and we'll see if you dilate. So I did that. You know, I'm talking like ripping the wall contractions. And I got back and they're like, you're probably still half a centimeter. You should go home. I'm like, okay, well, fuck this. So we went home and I continued with my horrible contractions, not sleeping, not eating. This went on for like days. We went back to the hospital a second time. They sent us home again. And then the third time, poor Eric, he had probably just laid down to sleep for like 2 hours and I woke him up and I was like, okay, I think for real this time. My water broke. We went to the hospital and I mean, it was pretty seamless. Like, you know, I dilated in a few hours. Oh no, she was like, how dilated do you want to be? And I was like 9 centimeters. And she was like, close, 7 or something. So I labored for a while, got in all the positions. And I don't know, like I wasn't ripening. I wasn't opening up. So, and my doctor wasn't available. They were like, she's off today. And I was like, well, she said to call her anyways. And they were like, well, she's not answering. So some like rando delivered Dean. And they did end up like suctioning him out, which was unnecessary. And he actually has like a huge birthmark on his face, which I think is from that. I think he was like squished somehow and like,
probably.
You know, he
could
got
be
fucked up
totally.
from that. But, so after that, my girlfriend had a baby like shortly after me and she's like so freaking crunchy. I mean, it was her first baby and she birthed it alone. No midwife, no boyfriend, nothing. She did it alone. So she sent me this class that essentially she purchased called like Free Birth Society. Mm-hmm. And I watched that and I became so empowered. I mean, I wanted to give birth to Layla like at home by ourselves. But my entire pregnancy was terrible. I was super sick the whole time. I hated being pregnant, gained another 60 pounds. And, but I was like mindset, like I want no medical involvement. I want nothing to do with these people. I'm like, you just get my baby out safe. So we went with like a full on birth plan, like 10 copies, gave it to everyone. And this is mid COVID, you know? So I'm like, I'm not wearing a mask. Like, I'm not getting vaccinated. Like, I didn't even get hooked up to an IV because I didn't want nothing to do with these people. And I'm texting my doctor because I'm like, all right, this is your chance. You better be in the hospital because, like, I'm bringing my second baby and, like, you have to deliver this one because she was pissed she didn't deliver Dean. So I'm texting her. I'm like, I'm in labor. And she came 5 days early. I started having contractions at 7 p.m. and she was born the next day at 11. So yeah, 11 a.m. So she came 5 days early. She was super quick. I mean, I was like, I'm not getting sent home again. So I just labored in bed. And finally I started feeling like the pushing feeling, you know? So I was like, I think we're getting too close. So we like called my friend. I had 3 friends that were going to watch Dean because Dean couldn't come to the hospital. Nobody answers. And we're like in the car and I'm like, you know, like really in the midst of it. And I get to the hospital and they were like, were you trying to have a baby at home? You're 9 centimeters. And yeah, so Layla came super quick and it was so easy. And they were like, you know, they knew, like a new nurse would come in the door and they would be like, okay, she's like an anti-vaxxer. She wants nothing to do with us, blah, blah, blah. There's just like 10 people in the room. I'm like, so is it COVID or not? Because y'all ain't 6 feet away from me and there's too many people in this room, but I don't even care.
That's it. It's a newborn. Come on.
Yeah. No. So yeah, but Layla was great. I mean, oh yeah, Dean had jaundice and he had to stay in the hospital for like 2 days in that stupid Billy bed and stuff. And Layla, I didn't even want, Layla got no vaccines. She got no erythromycin. I was, what is it? Like strep B or whatever, positive. I didn't want anything. So she was fine. And I felt like it kept her microbiome like intact. And like, I don't know. She's my experiment baby. She is completely unvaccinated. She has nothing foreign in her body at all. But yeah, I mean, I came home and I was like, now I have 2 freaking children. And it was a big transition. I mean, I would say we finally came up for air maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
2 months ago at 9 months, because the 2 of them, and they were little, they're, you know, she needs me. And then Dean's like, now I need you. And I'm like, you don't need me. You know what I mean? They're still little. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. It's tough to like, you're breastfeeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's even tougher because there's a different kind of connection that it's hard to shake, you know. No, even if you wean them or you do bottles or whatever, it's still hard to shake that what they want and that connection that they crave from you. It's a lot. It's definitely tough.
And I'm the only one, you know, like I couldn't pump, I couldn't leave anything. Like she didn't want to take a bottle, like. And Dean nursed till 13 months. And then I was finally like, okay, I need a break. I'm feeling touched out. I was like, I know she's going to nurse, like, but he kind of self-weaned at 13 months. It worked out. We both like made the decision. So he hasn't like craved the boob at all, but like, you know, he sees her getting attention and he needs up and she's eating and I'm hungry. Like, no, you're not.
Okay, kid. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, kid.
But he sees baby sister getting the attention and he's like, WTF, Mom? I don't understand.
Yeah. And he's always been really, really sweet with her. Like since we brought her into the house, he's been like so sweet with her. He's the best big brother. But the first 2 weeks, he was such a dick to me. He like hated me the first 2 weeks. He was like, why did you bring this baby home? I'm your baby. Like, and now we've leveled out, but
makes sense, right? Like, you know,
100%. He didn't pick her. He didn't choose that. And I felt such mom guilt those first couple of months because I was like, why did I do this? I was like, Dean is perfect. We could have given him all of our love and attention and time and stuff. And he didn't choose to have another baby. I was like, are we selfish? Like now we made him have a sibling. We're making him share everything. And like, I mean, I would cry about it. I felt so guilty. Like, you know, I don't know.
That's an interesting perspective. No, I love that. I think that's a really insightful thing. Like we were like on the flip side that we worry that Declan doesn't have that camaraderie. I mean, I had siblings. I'm the youngest of 3. My husband is the younger of 2. And sometimes we're like, oh, does he need a sibling? But also we put him in preschool and we do all the things, you know, like,
right.
Because I don't want to be pregnant again.
Totally.
You know, that's just our truth. And so I wonder sometimes if I'm not doing enough for him, but I can't do for 2 what I can for 1. I can put one kid through private school if I have to. I can't put 2 kids through private school.
Right. And it's just like,
I can't pay for preschool for 2 kids right now. It's not feasible. So what am I supposed to? And I cannot teach you. I am not a teacher. I'm really good in one facet. I'm really good at talking to people. I'm really good at coaching people. Do not ask me to teach a toddler. It is not gonna happen.
It's definitely, it's a lot.
So much.
I can relate.
Not gonna happen.
But yeah, I mean, Eric is the middle of 5. So for him, like, siblings have always been a thing. And then, like, for me, like, I have a sister who's 10 years older than me. And my little brother is 15 years younger than me.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm essentially
that much different.
Yeah, I'm essentially like an only child. And so, like, I mean, I'm a big Gossip Girl buff. And there is a quote from Blair Waldorf, and she's like, what's it like having a sibling, by the way, someone whose sole purpose in life is to compete for your parents' love and attention? I was like, ew, that, like, hits it on the head. Like, truly, because you can't ever give one child all of your love and attention. It's always going to be split. And, yeah.
Damn.
So we'll see. Stay tuned if we have 2 more or not. I want to adopt, honestly.
Heard that. That was our plan. My husband's adopted, so we were gonna adopt 2 older kids. like a 3 and 5 year old. That was our plan.
Yeah.
Kids who get lost in the system.
Right, yeah. I'm like, if we can afford it, like, why would you not pluck a kid out of, like, obscurity and sadness and give them the best life ever? Like, that,
Totally.
I think that sounds amazing.
Totally. 100%. I'm right there with you. Like, I think that there's a lot of opportunity, and it's not like you're playing Savior, you're not being Jesus Christ, or, you know, you're not being, whatever religion you fucking practice doesn't matter. Like, you're looking at it from, for me, I'm looking at it from, like, a socioeconomic perspective. Like, there's already organisms in the world that need support. Why are we going to create a new one? Isn't that a little selfish? Like, Declan's, and I love my son, I wouldn't change him for the world, and I think all parents say that. Our plan was always to adopt, and my husband was adopted, so it hits close to home. I have family members who adopted. My grandmother, who's now passed, like, she was a foster mom for over 100 kids in her life. Yeah, fucking crazy. I couldn't do that because I would get too attached and I would want to take care of them. But we were like, you know, when Declan's like 5 and like another year, so like, if we feel like he really needs a sibling, I asked him, like, you know, very innocently a few weeks ago, because I thought I knew the answer. I was like, would you like a brother or a sister? He goes, yeah, mama. I was like, how do you manage all of that?
Poorly? I'm just kidding. A lot of weed.
Fair.
Your girl is medicated. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we both were working the whole time that I was pregnant with Dean. That's why I quit. That's why I quit management, because I was working, like 60-hour weeks, and I never saw Eric because he was serving at night at Fleming's. And, I mean, yeah, it's always something's got to give. Unfortunately, you know, the kids are innocent. So it's usually like your marriage or like yourself and your health or your mental health and stuff. So that's why I say, like, we barely came up for air, like maybe 2 months ago, because with Dean, it was fine. I mean, it was just a lot of adjusting to having someone else to take care of and not being selfish and realizing someone's watching you all the time and like learning from you. But yeah, with Layla, like Eric, I mean, we were literally strangers in the night, you know, like I worked in the day and then I'd come home and we'd basically like high five, and he would hand me the baby and he would go to work. And so like our marriage really suffered. It was really, really difficult. We ended up going to our pastor for marriage counseling. That's one thing that's been really nice, is like I've never had any religion in my life, and like Eric is so Catholic, and I just kind of opened up to that. I don't know, that possibility, that higher being kind of thing, that thing that could unite us. And like, it's worked for us. And it, you know, I mean, initially Father Bill was like, well, when do you guys go on dates? Do you go on dates once a week? And we like laughed, you know, we're like, no, do you consider a date going to bed an hour early and like our feet touching in bed? Like, is that a date? And it was like, that's why we kind of fell apart. So yeah, we're like, okay, once a week we go on dates, we get a sitter, which was really hard too, because like, you don't want to leave your kid with anyone, right? You don't trust anyone. We are alone here in Vegas. That's something that's even more difficult. Like most people have like, you know, grandma and grandpa or a sister or cousin or friends or anyone. We have no one here. We have nobody. And like, we couldn't even get a break to go have dinner for 2 hours. Like, I'm not going to leave my baby with anybody, you know? So now we're finally safe in that regard. Like, we have pretty good sitters and people that we trust and stuff. And, I mean, yeah, it's been really hard, but now I think we're stronger than ever. We're like very united. He quit his job. He literally came home he transferred to Del Frisco's, and he came home one night and he was like, I quit restaurants. I don't want to work anymore. So he fulfilled his dream of becoming a stay-at-home dad, which is what he really always wanted. And he's a great dad. I couldn't ask for a better partner in taking care of the kids. He shoulders a lot of the responsibility. I mean, like, I still work. but yeah, I mean, he does everything. He cooks, he cleans, he takes care of the kids, teaches them and stuff. So it's good to have support. I don't think I could do it alone. All the time, I'm like, how the fuck do single parents do this? Like, I'm drowning and there's two of us. Like, I don't know if you feel the same way, but like, it's bananas.
There's always something to be done.
Yes, dude, it never ends. And laundry, like, why does that multiply? Who knew about the laundry? Why are there always dishes? The kitchen is always dirty.
Oh my God, don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
I don't, like, my husband gets so annoyed with me. He's like, how do you see this stuff? I'm like, 18 years in restaurants, babe. Like, I see everything. I see all the things. Like, sorry.
Yeah. But I think, I don't know, I finally, like, this like last year, maybe in the last couple 6 months or something, I realized I needed to do something for myself. I was losing myself. I didn't have any kind of identity. I was just like going through the motions. And then I was like, well, what did I really love to do? Okay, I really loved to play volleyball, but I can't do that anymore. I'm an adult. That's not it's not a feasible thing for me to join a league or something. So Eric got me a spin bike because I really love spin, like cycling.
Yeah.
So I hopped on the bike and I got addicted to that. And so, like, we're very structured in our house. Like, I mean, I don't know if I can show you, but like, this is our schedule. Everything is timed out. Everything is, yes, this is our life. It's, yeah, exactly how you would picture it. So we wake up, we wake up at 6, or Eric wakes up at 5 o'clock. He does a lot of crypto stuff. He started a consulting business. So he's in here doing crypto and I'm with the kids. And then 8:15 hits, I get to go to the garage and have an hour to myself and work out. And like, that's my me time. And that's been able to I was able to lose all the baby weight and like focus on myself. And that makes me emotionally like level. I don't know if you like work out or anything like that, but like if I don't, I'm a fucking crazy person. I'm so emotional. I fly off the handle. I feel shitty. I look shitty. It's just a vicious cycle. But like if I get my workout in, I'm like prone to bipolar disorder because my mom is bipolar. And if I don't work out, like my emotions are berserko. But if I do work out, I'm totally like normal, level-headed. I've gotten out that excess energy and like that has changed everything for me. Our scheduling and me working out has like, that's my me time. And like, I finally feel like myself. I'm able to be a better mom. I'm able to be a wife, all those things. I think that's so important. Like
totally important. You need that. I'm the same way. Like I started playing tennis again when I moved to Florida. So,
love that.
Dom makes fun of me so much because like I got like a 3-hour tennis clinic this week, and he's like, "Are you really drinking?" I'm like, "No, like I'm literally hitting balls at people. That's what I'm doing. That's what I do." But I feel you. Like if I don't sweat, like today, I played tennis for like an hour, but it wasn't like rigorous enough for my brain, so like I just wanted to punch people the rest of the day. It's
so weird, right? It's like is it so like, speaking of Western medicine, like talk about preventative stuff. If everyone literally worked out like 20 minutes a day every single day, we would all be so much better. We'd all be happier and healthier. And
squat jumps like in unison, like everybody 20-minute squat jumps, and then like something, like bicep curls, even with like cans of like green beans or something, just like do it. Like that would make the world a better place. Yeah. Right. One baby in each hand, switch.
Yeah. I don't work on my arms at all, and people are like, how are you so strong? I'm like, I have a toddler and a baby, and I carry both of them. So
yeah. Oh yeah. One's like this, one's like that. Sometimes they're like this. It's fine. It's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You just tossing them up in the air. 30 pounds.
Up. Okay.
Let me show you.
Yeah.
Instant workout.
I'm not ready for this weight yet.
Oh my God, that's so true.
I know.
Well, I like that you guys are regimented. I'm kind of not surprised with Eric.
I know. Well, we read this book called Atomic Habits. I think quarantine changed everything for us, honestly. Like, we read this book, Atomic Habits, and, like, implemented all these things to our life. Like, quarantine was the best thing ever. Neither of us had to work, and, like, we still got money, more than I did when I was serving, obviously. And, I mean, yeah, we just got to spend time together. My pregnancy was terrible, so it was good to relax and do that. But we got our life, like, structured and in order, and, like, it's been so much better since then.
And they just parlayed that into I don't know, are we post-COVID? I don't know if we're post-quarantine, whatever, I don't know. It depends on what stage you're in.
Yeah. I don't know. I got reams for picking up my Domino's with no mask, even though I was 3 feet from the door. Give me my pizza. Nope. Get your mask on. Okay. It's like, whatever. I'm like, we can't ever go back to that Domino's again, okay? Fuck that. I'm not trying to be that, like, mask warrior, but, like, when you're denying my business because I'm not wearing a mask, I'm like, you're not a business owner, obviously. You never say no to money, so.
You never say no to money. Fair.
I mean, I guess values, morals. I don't know.
All of the above are important. You can have all the morals and values you want, but if you don't have the cash flow, oof.
Right.
Oof.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
In what ways has motherhood changed you?
What ways has motherhood not changed me? That is a shorter answer.
Answer that.
I know. Gosh, in every single way. Like, yeah, like I said, I mean, I think all your character flaws come out. I realized, like, how selfish I was, and, like, Dean's behavior is a direct reflection of the things that I do and say. And I don't know, I just had to be, like, a more cleaned up, better version of myself. I want to be my best self every single day for the kids. And I think that that's huge, because before I was like, I'll just be my okay self and, like, get through life. And, like, you know, I'm cute and I'm pretty smart, so I could probably figure it out. But, like, now it's very intentional, and, you know, I don't know, you just defend your children and you want to do everything for them, and you become a different, better version of yourself, hopefully.
Right?
For me. Yeah.
That resonates so much. Like, I'm not good with a lot of things people think I'm good at. I have to, like, mentally prepare myself. So when it comes to my kid, though, I'm kind of on, like, autopilot in certain parameters, and I'm just like, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't like that.
Right.
And my husband's like, whoa, no, we're not going to feel it out. It just doesn't feel right to me. Like, I'm not going to do it. Or I'll say things or I'll do things that he's like, who are you? And I'm like, it just comes out of me, like, and it's intrinsic. And there's things like, I'm not teaching him. I'm surprised every day by his skill set. That doesn't mean I know his capabilities any less, and that I'm not observant to who he is as a human. Mm-hmm. I'm his mom. Like, I know more than anybody could ever tell me about my son, because the 3 hours in the morning and the 3 hours at night I have with him are hyper important, and my opportunity to engage with him. So even if it's just watching a movie, it's listening to his vocabulary, it's watching what he picks up on, it's little things you're like, interesting, he noted that, or, oh, he said that word, or he understands what they're doing in this random film we picked, you know? Like, you're like, okay. And it's filed away, and it's a totally different capacity for human beings, and it's different when it's not you. It's different when it's not you. When it's someone else who's so innocent and pure, and you have to look out for them, everything about your persona changes. And you would literally burn the neighborhood down, or walk through fire, or run into a burning building, because that little soul has no idea of the obstacles they're up against. And here we are in our Oh, I'm in my mid-30s. My husband's in his late 40s. But we know what the world is like, and we know what things face him, and we're trying to alleviate things but prepare him simultaneously. So it's a really interesting dichotomy.
Yeah. I think probably the biggest shift for me, now that I think about it, was like, which happened really quickly for Eric, is like when we found out we were pregnant, he was like, I don't want to be a GM anymore. I don't want to be in restaurant management. Like, I need to focus on you guys and have the time for you guys. Me, I was like, I'm going to pop this kid out and continue to manage and work my way up the corporate ladder. And then the second Dean came out and I went back to work, I was like, what am I doing? Like, this doesn't matter anymore. Anyone can manage this restaurant. That's not hard. Only I can be Dean's mom. Only I can be Layla's mom. And like, what am I going to, pay the lowest bidder to come watch my kid and teach them I don't know what? Like, that's so important to me. And now that I realize how important, like, the family unit and, like, what you teach your kid and, like, how much you love them, how it can affect their world and then, like, everyone else's world. I mean, I honestly think all the problems in our lives and everyone's life is because they weren't loved enough as a kid. If everyone had mommy and daddy and was loved, there wouldn't be all these issues. So, like, how am I going to be, go to work and, like, think I'm getting something done by doing lineup and, like, making a floor chart? Fuck that.
You're giving people love they didn't have before.
Well, that's fair, but only I can be Dean's mom. And I was like, I quit. I need to be Dean's mom. Like, I don't want to climb the corporate ladder anymore. That's not important to me. Like,
I get that 100%. I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I do this. this is my contribution to the world.
I was gonna say, this is what you do, right? Because is this like your job? That's awesome, and you get to do that from home, and you don't get to miss a beat. So that's great. That's the ideal.
And I put my kid in care that I can't give him. I try to do the homeschooling. Nobody wants me to be any Humanities teacher. So it's not me. Like, I just can't. I know my limitations as a human being, and I can reinforce everything, but I can coach people 100%. I'll be the best person to, like, I can expose him to everything, but what I can't do is teach him fundamentals. It's just not my strength. And that's okay. And I think that's half the battle as a parent too, is like, nothing's going to change that I'm his mom. I'm going to give him something different, a validation and affirmations, like what you're talking about with your kids, that I didn't get. And I'm going to have a support for him that I didn't get. But certain other things I can't give him. And I think that's okay to acknowledge as a parent what your limitations are. And for me, like, teaching my kid how to hold a pen correctly is not a strength of mine. Teaching my kids primary colors, teaching him what a isosceles triangle is like not my thing. It's just not my thing.
And he's going to like I experienced in getting him to pull his pants up. I'm like, I'm not good at this. I have no patience. Like, clearly, I'll outsource some things for sure. Patience is not a strong suit of mine, so. Also knowing, like, you can Google everything. You can research anything, right? But giving your kids the environment, but also having your own mental space to do it, it's a whole different fucking ball game. And I'm not trained enough as an educator to give my kid what he needs as a 3.5-year-old. It's a full-time job. It's 100% a full-time job to be a parent. And so that's why it's bananas that people try and have a full career and also be a parent and then also be married, because those are 3 different jobs for 3 different people. Like, there's no way. You can't.
We don't have enough time to dive into mine and Dom's, like, story, but, fuck. Doesn't like getting I hear. Is that Layla? Mm-hmm. I hear. Okay, real quick. What's the most useless information you received while pregnant?
Useless? Gosh. I don't know. I feel like most information that anyone ever gave me when I was pregnant went in one ear and out the other. And I was like, okay, for sure. Absolutely. I think like telling that, like when people tell you like it's hard, and you're just like, yeah, whatever. It's like not that hard. But then when you're in it, you're like, it's really hard. So I don't know if that's useless, but maybe like I don't know, not taken for granted, but just they really can't tell you. You'll never know until you have the actual baby and you're a parent. Like you'll never get it, really.
That's so true. That's so true. Like don't disregard that advice is probably a better statement for that.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wish you would have been told about motherhood?
Yes. I mean, I think the marriage thing, I feel like that's so like top of mind for me because it's so like, I don't know, fresh. But when we went and saw Father Bill, he was like, well, most couples that I counsel, I tell them to be married and be together for a few years before you have kids. And I'm like, well, yeah, that would be the fucking ideal situation. But it didn't work out like that for us, you know? And like, I don't know, if they taught that as like sex ed at school, it's like, hey, do you like the person you're having sex with? Don't make a baby because you're not going to have sex for a long time if you make a baby. That would deter me. That would deter me from making a baby, you know? That's probably like better than a condom. I would be like, shit, you're right. Like, I want to hang out with this person and I'm not going to be able to if I have a child with them. So like,
Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah, I wish someone would have told me, like, be happily married and build that foundation with your spouse before you have a kid because it's going to test you. And it's going to, but don't break. I don't know. You'll come out alive at the other side. Just
maybe
just keep your blinders on. And like, as long as you have that end goal, then man, the days are long, but the years are short and it happens so quick. And
that's so true.
Yeah, when you're in it, it feels like a long time, but then you blink, you look up and your kid's 3.5 and you're like, what the hell?
That's where I am right now.
Well, yeah.
God, he's such a cool person. All right, well, that's all the time we have for. I'm the mom who knows nada. My name is Brianna. This has been our interview with Kristal Jetson. She's badass there in Vegas. All I can say is have fun learning all the things you didn't know you needed to know. Until next time.